Travis Martin from Eastern Kentucky University and Danielle Chorba, who is our student member at large. You missed our earlier introductions for the National Council at St. Vincent College, are here to talk with us about making meetings lit. Take it away.
All right, I am going to share my screen. My name is Danielle Chorba. I am a senior student at St. Vincent College, and this is my second conference with ALD.
I'm Travis Martin. I am a chapter advisor at Eastern Kentucky University, a professional member at large as well on the National Council, and this is also my second conference.
So we're going to talk about how to make your meetings lit, more fun and enjoyable, as well as more organized, and just some tips that we have for you in the age of the coronavirus pandemic. So if you want to make your meetings lit, I was president of my chapter 2 years ago, my sophomore year, so I have a lot of experience with how to, make your meetings fun and so you get people to go. The biggest thing really is you want to get people there. So how are we going to get people there? Incentivizing, organizing. We have a lot of things right now with virtual meetings because of COVID. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then there's a lot of tools and things that you can use now, now that we're all on the virtual world. And then we're also going to give you an opportunity to ask some questions and share some of your best practices as well. All right, so you want people to come to your meeting. So what do? Free things are always great, right? Everybody likes to get free things when they go to anything, really. So you can get free merchandise. That could be like a t-shirt or a mug or a pencil or whatever. And food, of course, people love free food anytime that they go to anything. But also some things you could do, say food or free things are not in your budget. You can get guest speakers to come, which is good. We had a guest speaker come from our career center to talk about resume building, and also implementing a point system, which I know has been talked about, is good to get people to go as well, because then they can earn points towards whatever you guys, whatever your chapter takes points for.
Organizing. So you get people to the meetings and you want to keep them coming. You want to show them that you got a plan. So you want to show that you know what you're doing, that there's what's going on the rest of the semester, and people are trying to figure out where they fit in your organization, especially if it's their first time there. And by telling everyone what your plan is and sticking to that plan, you show both, strong leadership, you show strong structure, and you show that everyone has a place. So have a plan, set an agenda. And I'm going to post this tool here in the chat. But it's just some directions on writing a good agenda. You can go real formal with these, you can go informal. I've seen all kinds of different examples, but I think as long as you have a good plan and you stick to it, then people are going to be impressed and they're going to really feel like they can find themselves there. Also, keep good records in case people can't make it, in case people are looking at your organization from afar and they're saying, this is something I'm thinking about, but I'm kind of on the fence. I wonder what they actually do. Well, if you keep minutes and you keep those things stored somewhere, like on your school website for your organization, or just some shared drive, or you post them regularly in your chats, whatever that is, that can help people find out what goes on regularly at your meetings. And Microsoft actually has a whole bunch of templates for keeping meetings. And there's no like set way that you have to do these. There's more formal ways, there's less formal ways. Whatever works for you and your personality is what I tend to say. Even when it comes to teaching, I tell people, teach to your personality and your skill set. Whatever your leadership dynamic is between the officers and the advisor in your group, try to stick with that. Don't try to be something you're not. And I think you'll come off as more authentic and you'll come off as organized. So obviously you want to pick the right location. If you're having, a little bit different now with COVID, where you have to be 6 feet apart and spread out and all these things, if they even allow in-person meetings. But if things were normal, you would definitely want to pick a venue that was large enough. You would want to pick somewhere that's easy to find. Keep in mind our prime demographic is, second semester, first year students. These are students who may not know the campus very well. If you're particularly having meetings for informational settings after invites go out, you want to have a place that's easy to find. So I know one time we had a meeting at the bottom of our library in a nice big auditorium, but it was kind of hard for a lot of new students to find because they had to find the library, and they had to find the stairs, and they had to find the basement, and they had to find the hallway. It was just wasn't a very central location, and we tended to have better turnouts when we were easier to spot. Pick the right time. You can often decide that based on just kind of like your friends' schedules. You know, you're going to have people that are, you know, primarily Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or primarily Tuesday, Thursday schedules. You know, the prime times for that are going to be between 8 and 4:30 usually. Then you'll have some night classes, but most people are probably going to be better off in the evening. So you're not going to want to have like, you know, a 10 a.m. meeting, given the fact that a lot of students are likely to be in class. Another tip, this one's really worked well for me in the past, is getting people to RSVP. And when you do that, you can use something like Doodle. You can use any of these different survey softwares where people put in their name. Also, I have them put in their email address too, because once they've actually put their name and their email, I find that you get a lot better results. Once people say that they're going to do something, if they do that anonymously, it's a lot easier for them to back out. So you want people to have some skin in the game when it comes to these things. So just some overall tips: stay focused and try to accomplish your goals. See if you can schedule your meetings in advance. Like at that first meeting of the semester, tell people we're going to be having meetings on the 15th every month or every other month or whatever it is. Just be regular and, you know, have people kind of see that you've got a long-term plan. Send multiple reminders through multiple platforms. This is a good place to use your social. My chapter, we use GroupMe a lot, so we are always posting reminders in GroupMe when we have things. And we're getting more and more like into, like, we have 4 different social accounts now where we can post these things. We also have the mass email that we can send. Be careful with that at your school too, because one of our officers actually got banned from sending emails because she sent so many one day, and we had to get that fixed. But you know, multiple reminders, multiple channels, and that's going to be your best bet. And be sure every meeting you have when you're organizing these and you're planning in advance that you're giving time for members to voice their opinions. Don't just spend the whole time letting officers talk, but have a good set of time for the people that are there who are new, who are maybe have great ideas or, you know, really motivated to get involved. Give them a chance to voice their opinions and give them a chance to really showcase who they are and what they see for the organization.
So virtual meetings are our new normal now, in the age of the coronavirus, until things get better. So the way that most universities and colleges do this is Zoom. So that's why I have Zoom University as one of my bullet points here, because everybody's on Zoom. Most people know what Zoom is. I mean, we're on Zoom now, so most people know how to operate Zoom. So Zoom is pretty much your way to go for meetings, especially for the larger universities that can't meet in person or anything like that. So also, this is going to take more communication and extra planning now that you can't necessarily meet with each other to plan out your meetings and to plan out the events for the year. It's just going to take a lot more communication between the members, and not only the members, but the board members as well. So this means you could use like group text or GroupMe or something to just sit down and plan. You can even have Zoom meetings online with your board if your school allows for that. Or there's also like group FaceTimes too and stuff that you can do to do some of that extra planning. So I talked about ways to incentivize your meeting with food and free things, but that can be hard to do now that we're online and we can't just buy a pizza for everybody. So the icebreaker that we did at the beginning, that's a perfect example of a game that you could do online. It's easy, you just throw it into a PowerPoint, and this could get people to just become more engaged and more involved with your meeting right off the bat. And then some ways you can incentivize that is with a discount code, maybe to your school's ALD store or maybe the bookstore. And then if maybe you did do prizes where you gave out mugs or whatever, you could utilize the school's mailing system. I know that I have access to everybody's mailbox number, but I mean, even if you couldn't get that, maybe you could work something out with your administration. Not only can you do an icebreaker like we did on PowerPoint, you could also use Kahoot. I know that's a very popular source that you could use, as well as bingo. So my school actually does an online bingo through, it's called Adam Ace Entertainment, and they actually give away money. So that is pretty cool, because what college student doesn't want an extra 50 bucks you could win every round? That's pretty awesome. So like I said, you need extra organization and extra planning. So the way to organize your Zoom meeting would probably be to screen share. So you're going to want to put up a PowerPoint presentation beforehand and get that all ready and set up to go so that everybody can kind of follow along during the meeting. Now that we can't really pass out agendas to people because we're online. So you'll want to do that. And then there's also a major advantage to this, and that's because since we're online, there's so many different resources you could use. So for Zoom, you could use the recording part to Zoom, which is good because then members who didn't come to the meeting online will then be able to go back and revisit what you talked about so that they know what's going on for the month or the semester. And then also you could get speakers from anywhere to come. So sometimes this would just be limited to people at your college or university, but now you can get a speaker to come from California that talks about, I don't know, some sort of leadership thing, and you could recruit them to come on Zoom. So you couldn't just do that all the time because of the resources that were available for in person. Maybe your school didn't have the budget for that. So then that would be a good way too, to incorporate more speakers from different areas. So with the virtual world, a lot is the same. It's just a little bit different. So, you know, you can still plan and you can still run meetings and things, but things are just different. So people can still ask questions. All they have to do is just put them in the chat. You can either answer them as you go or at the end. And then you could still do breakout rooms. And I know that Zoom has the option to do a breakout room, and you could do committee meetings and subcommittee meetings in there just to kind of aid with that organization key part a little bit. So yeah, that's how you kind of would do it in the age of COVID, from what I've experienced with Zoom and with my college.
So I would say everyone here, you know, we're all trying to figure out COVID. It's new. We're all trying to find out ways to engage, and every campus here probably has a student life organization or, you know, office that is working really hard to try to engage with students, because engagement results in retention, which results, you know, from satisfaction in the campus. So, you know, there's a saying where there's chaos creates opportunity, and there's a real opportunity for ALD here to really step up as a leader during this time and really kind of emerge in a way that showcases not only the chapter, but, you know, what the school has to offer. And if you can offer things to the campus as a whole, your chapter is basically going to be currying favor with your student life office. It's going to be showing students that you exist. It's going to be giving your chapter officers and members great leadership opportunities, and you'll be making a difference. So I know our chapter used a Kahoot in the spring when everybody went online for the first time. And it was the first, you know, kind of campus offered activity that had been, you know, offered since it all started. And we, one of our officers, Chrissy, I don't know if she's on here right now, but she works probably more than a dozen hours putting this thing together. And it was an hour-long Kahoot, and the top 3 winners basically got, you know, $50 prizes. And, you know, I'm not saying you have to spend $50 on each prize, but it brought a lot of people together from the chapter, and it brought a lot of people together from outside the chapter too. And it really gave ALD a chance to shine. And, you know, we had, you know, the biggie welcome at my school, Eastern Kentucky University, which is where all of our freshmen do move in. And there wasn't a lot of stuff like they normally have. So all these future potential members for ALD were doing their move in without a lot of social opportunities. And so we just kind of revised that Kahoot to include more stuff about campus resources, about campus history and stuff like that. And we offered that alongside student life as just an activity for them to do. I think we had like 91 people registered for that. I'm not exactly sure how many showed up, but it was like 91 that registered, which is really good for our school. And it really kind of gave people a chance to communicate. And one student actually commented, they weren't there for the prizes, they were just there for the chat and having someone to talk to. I mean, they said that in the chat. So people are looking for ways to engage, and your chapter can do that. And there's a lot of tools. I'm gonna just post some. You know all about these. You know about Zoom, you know about Kahoot, you know about Google Drive and GroupMe and Slack and Discord. You may not have known about the chapter resources that were, you know, mentioned earlier in our conference from ALD, but this stuff's great. I'm gonna post that for you too. Just keep in mind, you know, like Danielle was saying, just because we've moved online doesn't mean we have to look at this as a complete disadvantage. We have lots of new opportunities that have resulted from this. And ALD, I think, as a whole can emerge as a leader on your campus, not only for freshmen, but as the campus as a whole. So I highly encourage that as much as possible. And we wanted to finish a little bit earlier because we know that we are not the absolute experts on everything there is to say about, you know, making meetings lit. So we want to know, what are your best practices? What are you doing? What kinds of things have worked for you? And if you don't mind, post them in chat, or we can read those for you. And
yeah, or if you want, if anyone wanted, if you want to stop screen share, maybe we can see the gallery view and see if there is anybody who wanted to turn their camera on and unmute themselves. We've got, how much time? 23, got a few minutes.
Yeah,
I
let
can
us know.
share
Yes,
one that
Jessica.
we did. So I'm at McDaniel College in Westminster, Maryland. Our semester was split in half this year. So we had session A and session B. Session A finals are this week. So last week we had a virtual study hall for everyone to come and join on. And so we were able to keep people studying and keep people engaged. And we opened it up to the student body. So a lot of first year students were able to come and interact with us and get to know us a little more. And then next week at the start of session B, we are launching a virtual pen pal program so that we can connect with the first year students and help them as they transition from their first set of classes to the second set of classes to kind of help them with that transition and stuff. And it's something we're really excited about.
That's great.
to launch.
What are you using Zoom?
We used Zoom for the wide meeting, but we also used Microsoft Teams. And I like using Teams because I can post our PowerPoint straight in Teams so people can access it
Okay.
after the presentation is over. So we're using that more often than
Right.
Zoom.
I haven't toyed with it too much, but I think we can post files in Zoom here in the chat, but I haven't tried it. I'm sorry, Travis, were you gonna say something?
I'll say a peer mentoring program like that too is going to be welcomed by any school. That's a proven retention predictor right there. Whenever there's a connection between that first semester or first year student and someone who's been there longer, so your school is definitely going to be happy with that. I see another comment here about virtual study halls and pen pals. That was yours, but also there was a show and tell with pets. You're not going to go wrong with pets. Anytime you get puppy dogs and kittens, you're going to get people to show up. So yeah, I love that idea. I actually got a new puppy myself, and it's inspired me.
did? Wow. And then, other pairing up for community cleanups to get out of their rooms is great. I think there are things you could do social distancing wise if it's not big groups and they're wearing masks. So it's not quite a meeting, but getting them engaged and doing things.
I've read about a door decorating contest on different campuses where people kind of decorate their doors in their dorms and they submit their pictures and vote on them. So it's
Right.
stuff like that.
Any other last ideas, questions? You could type them in the chat because we are going to record all this and transcribe it. So I think we are at our 25 after minute mark. So thank you so much to Travis and Danielle. Thanks for your great presentation. Again, there are PowerPoints available on that link shared earlier. We'll share that again throughout the day.